All right, we're back again with another episode of Roofer Reflections. Xavier, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Humbled and honored to be on the platform. So I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, I love it. I mean, I look at your background. You've done a few things. You even worked at Tesla. Tell me about some of your early jobs and career aspirations.
It's been kind of crazy to look back. I was actually talking to my family and reflecting back on a lot of things, how I've gotten here into different steps. But yeah, I kind of got into roofing. I wouldn't say on a whim, but it was kind of a whim. I went to college. I did the college thing, played college baseball. And when I got back and was done with college, I obviously needed a job, obviously. So I was looking for, different positions. Um, and I answered this one ad that said like customer service. And I had taken a communication class in college. I actually was I was actually talking to my mom today about it. She's like, that communication class has helped you a lot in your career. So I can't recommend more taking for people to take a communication class because it definitely helps. Customer service is talking to people and dealing with people. And so I was like, you know what? I can do customer service. It'd be a good entry job. Little did I know, I show up to the interview and I'm wearing a big overgrown suit that doesn't fit me anymore. I couldn't really afford to buy another suit or anything like that. So I show up with a big suit and tie, and it's too big for me. And the interviewer was like, "Can you climb a roof?" And I was kind of like baffled at first. I was like, what is this? I was like, I thought this said customer service. It didn't mention anything about roofing or anything like that. But that's how I kind of got started. Honestly, the big turning point for me was how I really got into the commercial roofing industry was I met a gentleman, I hope he doesn't get mad about it. I won't give his full name, but I'll just say Chris. A gentleman named Chris from my local church, and he had a small commercial roofing company. He mostly did multifamily stuff, and he did some stuff for the local churches around the area. And so he would do a lot of repair stuff for them, and then do local like multifamily apartment stuff. So he said, "Hey, I want to spend more time with my family. I need somebody to kind of help me run the business. I'll basically teach you everything you need to know." And so he kind of just taught me, mentored me, shepherded me along the way. And that's how I was able to really get into commercial roofing, really get my feet wet. And from there I was able to transition into different companies and kind of escalate different positions from there.
You mentioned sports, baseball. Like, was that a big part of your life early on?
I'm Dominican, so I think everybody knows. Especially like probably people with, we could talk about how the World Cup's going on right now. People could probably relate to different countries like Argentina, how people grow up kicking a soccer ball. Dominican Republic, people grow up with a bat and a glove in their hands. As people know, Dominicans are very prominent in the sport of baseball. So I mean, as little as I can remember, I had a baseball bat and a glove. I mean, 4 years old, I was already playing. So I grew up my whole life playing baseball. It's something I grew up with. It's in my family. It's in my blood. So yeah, I grew up playing that all the way up until I was 23, 24 in college. So
How did your like sports background, your effort there translate to what you're doing now?
yeah, so I think something that I think any sport, not only just baseball, can teach you is just work ethic and the fundamentals. I think fundamentals is a big thing, but the work ethic, the working hard, the training, the discipline, those are things that can take you far in the business world. When you're dedicated and you work hard and you train and you practice and you do all the basic fundamental things that you're supposed to do every day, it's going to provide results for you no matter on the field or in the business world. I got to play a position that was kind of like the extension of the coach on the field. And so I learned from an early age how to communicate, especially effectively with the team, but also with our the pitcher. The sport of baseball, a lot of times it's a very mental game, and as the job as the catcher, your job is to communicate and to translate what the coach wants on the field, but you're also kind of like a psychologist for your pitcher a lot of times. Uh, so you're having to deal with all of the different personalities. So I had different pitchers that had one guy wanted to get hyped up before the game, one guy needed to be by himself and just be zen. And so you have to learn everybody's different personalities and how they work and kind of adapt to how their communication style is or how they learn or how they get coached up. And so you can't talk to somebody a certain way how you would talk to another guy a certain way, because it just wouldn't work. They would shut down. Those were like skills that I didn't even know that would translate into what I do today, but helped me early on. And what I learned in baseball, it's a lot of a mental game and how you communicate and how talk to people. And I'm still learning that to today. You're still always learning, but that's something that I think helped me uniquely in the position that I played, to be able to help me adapt to the business world today.
At what point did you kind of feel like you had a pretty good grasp of the roofing business? Like at what stage or what point did you remember yourself thinking, "Hey, I may know a few things about what I'm doing here"?
For sure. I think it was really the first time that I got to actually do a submittal. So I was working as a junior project manager under a large company. That was kind of my first like big job with a big company. I would say he was very unique. At that time, my mentor. I appreciate it though, because he would let me work through the issues and kind of let me figure it out on my own. So I had a first project that I had that was it was probably the largest project at that time that I've ever managed, and it was kind of overwhelming because I've never done anything of that caliber, that size. Those you see those dollar amounts with the commas and the zero 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 zeros, and you're like, holy moly, you're responsible for all that. He had told me to do a submittal. I've never really done a submittal of that. Um, you know, I've never done anything like that before. So I just looked at previous examples, and then I would do it, and then I would go back to him and be like, is this right? And he'd be like, no, you need to fix this and this. And then he would just tell me to go off and go fix it. And I would constantly have to go through that process. So once I did my first submittal project as like a junior project manager, and then actually completed a job like on budget, and did all that on time, I was like, okay, I have a little bit more confidence now that I have some sort of idea. I'm at least a little dangerous now that I know enough to be a little bit dangerous. So that was kind of my first like where I felt confident, working on projects like that. So
What's kept you in the roofing industry?
what's kept me in the roofing industry, I would say, oh man, somebody told me recently that like once you get in the roofing industry, you never get out. That's true, because I did. You had mentioned earlier in the interview that I had worked at Tesla, so I had taken a break from roofing, and went and worked at Tesla for a bit, and then ended up coming back to roofing. So I think what keeps me coming back is the people. I have so many relationships and so many different people that I've worked with over the years in roofing that I've built really good bonds with. It's a big industry, obviously. That's why we're in it, but it's so tight knit. Everybody knows everybody in the industry. Everybody knows the who's who's and all that. So it's always the people that brings me back, the relationships with the people that I've the bonds that I've built with over the years. I have some really good friends that like our kids hang out with their kids, and we do stuff together, outside of the business. So I've been able to meet some cool people along the way in the roofing industry that kind of keeps me going.
If someone came up to you that was just considering the roofing industry as a career path, what sort of advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I think what I would say is to just be open to learning anything in the roofing industry. There's so many different career opportunities in the roofing industry. I was just talking to somebody the other day that was asking me a similar question. And I was like, yeah, I was just like, just have to get people out there to understand that there's so much opportunities out here. Just be open to anything, open to start anywhere. If I could tell myself, my 10 years ago myself, man, you're gonna be here, you're gonna be there. I probably wouldn't even believe myself. But because I took that step, and I was just like, you know what? I don't know anything about roofing. I never planned on being in roofing. I didn't know what a shingle was. I didn't know what TPO was. I didn't know any of that stuff, but I was open to trying it. And that got me to where I am today. I just tell people to be open. We need more people in the trades, that's for sure. As we know, there's shortage everywhere of people, not only in roofing but just trades in general. And if you want to make a great career, and you want to sustain and take care of your family, and have a career that can provide, man, the trades is where it's at, because the trades aren't going anywhere. You still need to build houses. There's still buildings that need to be built. So learning a trade and working your way up and learning along the way, I think that's great. So if I could tell anybody that's looking to get into trades or roofing in general, I'd say just be open to learning.